What is this? Grixis Niv Mizzet.
Have we? I don't know. The new Niv Mizzet. Sorry, the new Niv Mizzet seems powerful. I mean, I played it in standard. So I don't know if he's playing that one or the new one, or maybe it's the old Niv Mizzet combo, the Curiosity Niv Mizzet.
Maybe.
That'd be spicy.
Yeah, that would be really spicy.
And he's just on like Grixis control.
Thoughtseize.
It's like a top end 2-card combo. All right, so we're gonna start. We start off here. Dakota has a medium start.
Yeah, this is not
super slow, but it's like something.
Interesting that he takes
Walking Ballista
over, or Hangerback Walker over Walking Ballista. Walking Ballista normally the more powerful of the two.
He probably has some kind of destruction effect where he doesn't mind. He's just gonna build it right away.
He'd rather not have to deal with
tokens.
Yeah,
that it might get more value than just 1 damage.
It's just control with Niv, probably. I don't see any other thing for this to be.
Yeah. So Sir Tail said, "What do you guys think is the new up-and-coming deck to keep an eye out in Modern?" Up-and-coming?
Yeah, I don't want to admit it, but because I think it's dumb and it's like a little too high rolly. But I said the same thing about Hollow One, is the dumb Arclight Phoenix decks. Arclight Phoenix, obviously a powerful card when you can ignore casting it at all.
Yeah, free cards are always good, as we've seen with stuff like Dredge, getting cards for free and stuff like that. I am on the same boat where I'm just like, I don't want to admit that that's a good deck, and I still don't think it actually is that good of a deck. But it is an up and coming in popularity, so it might be something to keep an eye out for.
So this is game 2. Clearly Dakota knows something we don't from what happened in game 1, because he's got Damping Sphere put into his deck.
Maybe.
Oh, this is weird.
No, this is definitely
Anger of the Gods. Exiles, interestingly enough, which means that the death trigger does not occur.
Unless something would survive, it wouldn't matter anyway. Because,
no.
Yeah.
It's just like
it is
good that he has that in his deck.
Right.
I don't know if that's in the main or the side though, because that could have been really heads up sideboarding, or that could just be like really smart deck building.
Yeah. I mean, it is just like better against like Dredge, which is really popular right now.
Yeah.
So it's not like this is coming out of absolutely nowhere, and you're like, whoa, but it is good.
Yeah, definitely.
Sideboards for this.
All right, so there's this land on the battlefield on Dakota's side. I want to talk about it here for a second.
Phyrexia's Core?
Phyrexia's Core. If we could get that up on screen, that would be great.
Grixis Core.
It is an interesting one. We personally know Dakota, and we saw him building this deck, or like sleeving it up last week. It is very weird. So here it is. It's a land, taps to add colorless, whatever, because the whole deck is colorless. But 1, tap it, sack it, you gain a life. Or to sack an artifact, you gain a life. So it's basically like a worse version of Arcbound Ravager, to be able to get your triggers moving from modular.
Yeah, the reason you're playing it is because it's a sack outlet, not because of the gaining life.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
and
sometimes it kind of matters, like burn or something.
It can be relevant. But I think the reason it's in the deck is because it's completely impossible to interact with.
Yep.
Like no one is playing ways to hate out lands really. Like obviously Ponza exists, but like you can mostly ignore it.
Yeah, most decks can interact with anything else on the board, whereas this land they can't do anything.
Yeah.
I actually played against a Hardened Scales deck at the regionals last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, and that was a problem that they had. I was on Infect, and I just kept animating a Blink Moth Nexus, and they had 2 Hangerback Walkers on the battlefield, but they had no way to like kill them. So if they would have had this land.
All right, this is an interesting juncture.
Okay.
Chris is lightning bolting Walking Ballista. Walking Ballista obviously currently would die, but Arcbound Ravager and Hardened skills are in play. Chris is at 11 if we have life totals correct. And let's see, he can sacrifice 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts, and that would give it 9 counters.
That is a lot.
I think that would have been lethal, or 1 short. I think it would have been correct for him to sack everything.
1, 2, 3, 4, which it gives it. Arcbound gives it 1 counter, but Hardened Skills would give it 2, and he was already at 2, so it would have been 2, 4, 6.
I could be 1 off, but I don't think I'm any more off than 1. I think the right play there is to. Oh wow. Okay, top deck's Inkmoth Nexus. I think the right play would have easily been to suit up Walking Ballista and say, worst comes to worst, I activate Walking Ballista's ability to pay 4.
Yeah.
And then I kill like that. But
yeah, and he had most of his lands on tap, I believe.
Instead though, he's content to let Walking Ballista bite the dust. Sacks it to Arcbound Ravager to get some counters.
Yeah. It's not a bad play. It's a very conservative play. Chris obviously isn't putting a bunch of pressure on him, and from what he's seen, there's no way for him to just like completely blow up Dakota here. So he says, rather than trying to nuke my board and then have one thing happen, he's like, all right, I just have more.
I'm not sure that playing the Steel Overseer here is right. That's kind of a weird play. He has the ability to attack with Arcbound Ravager and like hold information.
Yeah.
Or he can animate Inkmoth Nexus and attack with that also. Whichever one gets through could kill.
Yeah, he could have done both. Cryptic would have stopped that.
Yeah, Cryptic looks pretty rough.
Yeah, so
he's bouncing.
Yeah, he's bouncing. I think probably bounce draw.
Yeah.
So Dakota could have sacrificed it to its own ability to give the counters to the Steel Overseer, or animated the Inkmoth and given it to the Inkmoth. But that also exposes the Inkmoth.
Yeah.
If he has any spot removal like Lightning Bolt, etc., and he animates the Inkmoth, he can just kill it, and then he's like really down on cards, and he's like really far ahead at this point. So I think he just wants to keep on slow, steady pressure. Which, I don't know, against a control deck seems not great. I think, and you're like more of the super hard aggressor. You want to just kill them before.
Yeah, I think I also see an Anger of the Gods in Chris's hand, which means Chris is like super content to let him play out Arcbound Ravager again.
Yeah.
He like doesn't care at all.
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to let him, overcommit a little bit. He is getting pretty low on life though, so if he doesn't like decide to pull the trigger soon, he might just die.
Yeah, he just has to find something. I haven't seen a Niv Mizzet yet.
Yeah, I would really like to see a Niv Mizzet just to know like which one he's playing.
Yeah.
At the very least.
There are 3 Niv Mizzets in existence, and we have 0 idea.
Yeah, it could be any of them.
Gods. Dakota has quite a fair bit of room to work with this.
Yeah, he could. And this is interesting. Oh wait, no, the Steel Overseer just came down, right? So it can't tap yet.
Correct.
Okay, so I was gonna say he could tap Steel Overseer and make the Arcbound live. So instead, what he does, he just sacrifices the Steel Overseer to make the Arcbound live anyway, which is fine.
Yeah. The other option he could have done there is he could have gone for a lot of things, sagging a lot of things, and suited up his Inkmoth. But I think it's definitely correct to just hold on to all of your information here.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota coming from Burn, I like to see in a matchup where a lot of these cards matter, and you do have a lot of play on board without having to actually show the cards in your hand, to just keep the cards in your hand and not let your opponent know what's going on until it becomes relevant.
Right.
For instance, he could have attacked with Inkmoth Nexus like he's doing here and kept it in hand, and Chris is incentivized to deal with Inkmoth Nexus because of that.
Right.
If he doesn't, he dies, probably. Whereas here...
Back to playing the new Niv Mizzet.
The newest Niv Mizzet? Okay, we have been updated. Okay.
He is the cheapest Niv Mizzet, I do believe.
Yeah. What I was trying to say, though, is that, if he leaves Inkmoth Nexus behind and, doesn't play it, it's not obvious what he's doing. It's not obvious that he has another backup, so it makes Chris more incentivized to try and kill it. When he sees the backup, he doesn't want to spend a card doing that.
Right.
Why would you spend a card doing that when you can, actually blow up the thing that's more important?
Right. So if I see what's happening, he flashed in Snapcaster, targeted the lightning bolt, and then just went to blocks and basically said, if you want to try to suit up your thing, I'm going to kill it before the counters resolve. So he just has to let the block happen. And then at the end of turn, just blew it up anyway because before it became a land again.
Yeah.
Which was a really good play on Chris's part. It's a lot of people have trouble playing around Inkmoth Nexus or playing with it.
Yeah.
So I think that was very good on his part.
It's difficult to understand the timing on stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
If you're always last...
Bless you.
Thank you. If you're always last to act, your opponent can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that Dakota has shown all of the cards in hand, we know what he can do.
Yep.
Might as well just pay no attention. We know we can wait.
Yep.
So just wait. Because if he tries to act, you blow him out.
Right.
And if he doesn't try to act, it still works.
Right.
Nothing changed.
If he's not actively killing you, there's no point in, going first. That's kind of a control mentality in general. Something I cannot get behind. In standard, I've picked up over the last few weeks, I've picked up a Grixis control list. Do not like it. Do not like the playstyle, the mentality you have to have. It's just not me.
I think a lot of aspects of Magic apply to all decks. For instance, waiting until the last possible moment is something that will be good in a lot of scenarios, no matter what deck you're playing.
Right.
But it is your priority in control. That's something that's always on your mind, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to interject here real quick. I'm going to quickly read. Someone was asking information on the PPTQ. I have it here. It's $30 entry, but if you pay before the 22nd of November, it's $25 instead. And the payout is 3-to-1 plus $10 store credit added to the total prize pool per player that enters.
All right.
Cool. That was our tech guy, AJ.
Let's go, AJ.
Yeah.
Sir Tailweaver in chat. What do you guys play? Dustin, what are you on in Modern currently?
In Modern, I am currently technically on Infect. Really fun deck. I really, 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 really like it. And before that, I was on Dredge. Still have it. Currently, me and Jacob here are building a very, I wouldn't even say it's super spicy anymore, but it is a deck. It is a weird brew deck.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird brew. I don't know if I would ever play the deck, but I will help you construct it.
I appreciate it.
I am currently in Modern, playing Ponza. I have one deck that is 5 cards short of being finished. I occasionally rent the cards to play it, which is KCI. And I am starting to build Bant Spirits.
Very slowly.
Very slowly.
All right, so we're starting here on game 3. Dakota leads off on Hardened scales, which is really what this deck wants to do. Just get the ball rolling, and he can have a really, really explosive start on turn 2.
Did you see that? Dakota plays Swamp. Or Chris plays Swamp. Dakota immediately starts to tip his hand forward. He's like ready for the Thoughtseize. He's like,
yeah.
Where is it? Not today.
Nope, not yet. He could be holding up Remand. We saw that in game 1, I believe.
Or game 2. We came in during game 2.
Right. That was a really, really quick game 1 then.
Yeah.
If we missed it. Like, I saw them sitting down and like shuffling up, so I wasn't really worried about it. And then I saw them playing, and I was like, oh, cool. So apparently we totally just missed
two Arcbound Workers, has a Ravager in hand.
Yeah, this is the start that they want. If he just like gets to land an Arcbound Ravager with like little to no resistance here, Chris is in a bad spot. Even if he has like anger here.
Yeah, every time that yeah, okay, he gets out of it now.
Yeah.
If he didn't do it right now,
yeah, he was in
things were not looking good.
I'm pretty sure I saw in Chris's hand he has at least 2 bolts. So he's very prepared to deal with most of Dakota's aggression. But we'll see. We'll see if he can navigate it. And there's a Remand in hand. I saw that too. So he was tapped out, and Dakota decided to play a Lightning Bolt. Or not Lightning Bolt, sorry. The Damping Sphere.
Damping Sphere, I'm not sure if there's something we missed in game 1. Damping Sphere seems relatively weak in this matchup.
Maybe he brought something out he didn't care for, and his mentality is, I don't want him to be able to just for free go bolt.
Yeah, he does lose the ability to double spell as early as he could have before.
Right, and it also hinders things like Snap Bolt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like you have to wait till turn 4 to be able to Snap Bolt something.
Remand's Steel Overseer. Steel Overseer, extremely dangerous to let resolve under any circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, getting in there with the Blink Moth Nexus.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get your damage in where you can. And being virtually tapped out, it was pretty safe because Chris had already played the Remand for turn, so any spell would have cost 1 additional. All right, we got Dan. Ooh, one of the Dans. I heard him talking about this, I believe Friday. He's usually a Merfolk player or fish. He was talking about Tropical Fish, which is green-blue.
Yeah.
Brings in Kumena Speaker and Merfolk Branchwalker.
Both have shown some success in modern Merfolk.
Yeah, I know it was pretty popular right after they came out. They were really heavy trying it, and a lot of people went back to just blue. But you know, it's still a list, still a thing.
Yeah, still definitely still powerful. Yeah, I mean it's basically Grixis control with Niv Mizzet. I don't know that the Niv Mizzet is tossed in, for spice. It might be. He might honestly think it's the best finisher for this deck, though.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It can't be countered, so there aren't a whole lot of counter spells running around in Magic, but there's a decent amount. Like blue-white's kind of popular.
Yeah.
And then being Grixis control plays a lot of 1-mana spells. And being able to just say, okay, Lightning Bolt your thing, draw a card, deal a damage, is pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's a 5/5 on its own, so it's no slouch.
It's relevant enough to say that it is tough to kill things with 4 toughness in Modern. So the ability to add 1 damage to your bolts, or add 1 damage to your other spells, is like pretty big.
Yeah, it's also pretty good against smaller creature decks. A little bit, obviously. Getting Niv Mizzet down is kind of hard against something like humans, like living that long. But if you do, and you go against something that has like a 1 or 2 toughness, and you just go like cantrip, for free, kill something.
Like Opt, Serum Visions, Bolt. All right, we killed 3 things.
Yeah, and then you like stabilize that way. It's pretty good. I would say it's probably pretty good against Dredge. with Narcomoebas and Bloodghast being 1 toughness, and then being able to like bolt their prized amalgams. So you like bolt their prized amalgams and then shoot their Narcomoeba.
Yeah, seems pretty strong.
That's of course if they don't get in from under you, but
Yeah, pretty tough.
The reason why the Damping Sphere was brought in is because apparently in Game 1, Chris untapped with Niv Mizzet and just cast a bunch of spells in 1 turn and just killed him.
Yeah. That's fair. I think that it is wrong, though. I think you just don't ever want to give him an opening to play Niv Mizzet. You just want to be pressuring him so much.
I don't think he's confident enough in that regard. I think that's the thing. Is like he's not confident enough in the deck to say like if you tap out for Niv Mizzet, I will kill you.
That's fair.
So he's saying, I'll Damping Sphere to try to help. And it does. It's not like it does absolutely nothing in every other situation. Like we were talking about.
He's also got non-castable Niv Mizzet in his hand because he fetched for basic swamp.
The classic basic swamp is keeping him off of Niv Mizzet.
Did he fetch for that? Oh yeah, he fetched for basic swamp on turn 2. I remember. Is this the backup match? This is actually the backup match. The first match was...
that's why we missed the first match.
Yeah, that's why we missed
They played the first match not on camera.
Yeah.
And then when they were going to the match 2, they came over here to the camera. I gotcha.
Yeah, the first match was Anthony versus Luke. And Anthony was on.
I just thought we were like
White-red.
I thought the whole round went that fast. I was like kind of surprised, honestly, when they came by and like they said we had a second match. I was like, holy crap, everyone got done that fast?
Oh, you thought this was round 2 already.
Yeah, I already thought it was, but apparently not. I'm not on the ball. So here we go. Chris finally was able to draw another land to cast Niv Mizzet here, leaving up the 1 awkward swamp. So I guess with the Damping Sphere in play, it does kind of put a damper on him, just like quote unquote going off. But Dakota has almost nothing, and Chris is not completely dead here. Like he's down on life, but he's fine. He can Niv Mizzet blocks Blink Moth and Ink Moth really well.
Yeah.
All right, so right here we have a Walking Ballista on 2. And then, what's this? An Arcbound Ravager.
In chat, can you ask John if we can pre-register for the PPTQ over the phone?
Yeah.
I'm like 99.9% sure that you can.
Yeah, if you just call the store and say you want to pre-register for the PPTQ, you should be able to do it for you. You should be able to take your credit card information over the phone.
Yeah. Give him the epic credit card number and the 3 numbers on the back.
3 crazy digits on the back. So I think if I'm Dakota here, my plan is to try to kill him with a Walking Ballista. And I think he might be like 1 artifact short of being able to sack his whole board and then kill the Ballista.
He has it right now, actually.
He might have been a little worried that he tries to go for it and then right before the counters hit the Ballista, he like bolts it.
He has it right now. I'll tell you that it involves the like hard line of playing of activating Inkmoth Nexus
and sacking it.
Yeah. Or Blinkmoth using itself.
Right.
Not a common line. I think he could have just won there.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, if I was Dakota, I would have tried to do something to like try to win there because like Walking Ballista is his
terminate. Now I think his best out. He sees it this time, I think.
Yeah.
Use Blinkmoth.
Yeah, only having 1 land, it's still a little risky because if he activates and he has a 1 mana cantrip like Opt or something, and he just activates and then tries to sack, he can he can draw.
Damping Sphere is in play. He can't cast any spells now. Only 1 land, and Damping Sphere will make the spells cost 2 more.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. So he does it. He activates the Blink Moth, gives it all the counters. So it's now a 6/6, which is bigger than the Niv Mizzet.
Yeah.
Being a 5/5.
Still has Blink Moth Nexus in play. Can pump his Ink Moth by 1.
Yep. It's not lethal yet. So Chris might just say, all right, I'll take 1 hit and try to kill you.
Yeah.
Or find a line where I can kill this Ink Moth next turn.
That's going to be tough. Dakota
maybe.
at 19 can't kill Dakota.
I don't think it's going to be
killing the Ink Moth Nexus also going to be tough because every card he plays is, one less card in his hand. It's same hand size, I guess, but it's not like he gets to, build up on cards and go, okay, I see it now. I can lightning bolt it twice.
Right.
If he doesn't have both lightning bolts in his hand, and his hand will only have 2-3 cards in it. If he doesn't have all of them in hand to deal with it, he's going to have to just hope he blindly draws into the cards.
So here's a little synergy. Chris fetched for another basic island and remanded because obviously the Damping Sphere had reset because it was Dakota's turn, and was able to draw from the Niv Mizzet trigger and then draw again from the remand, being able to deal 2 more damage to Dakota. So it's just it's the little synergies. It's not like a combo, but it's a synergy. Here you go, Dakota firing up the Ink Moth. If I were Chris, because he has nothing in hand.
He has
Dakota
another Niv Mizzet, so he definitely wants to block here.
I don't know. I think if he just takes the first one, tries to do as much as he can next turn, and then blocks.
Yeah.
I think that's probably his best bet.
All right, so now he's gonna be at 6 in fact.
There we go.
I think the issue with this is that if he doesn't do something that puts him up to a critical mass of cards in hand, he has to blindly hit a counter spell, or he basically auto loses to any disruption Dakota draws. Dismembers are pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty unlikely that Dakota will have it, but I mean, if he just draws it, then the game's probably over.
I wouldn't want to leave myself dead to top decks that I think I can
get around.
Yeah.
It's fair. So he does have the bolt. He's got to pay 2 for it, but he does. This is weird. I would have waited. So he just bolts his face. I guess he thinks he has the win this turn. I mean, he can attack. Dakota has no blockers, so he's gonna get an extra 5 damage, which means he's got to produce 6 more damage this turn.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't really quite see his hand. But he might. Oh no! He lets Dakota go. He doesn't attack. So I think the plan is to block here.
Yeah. Jeez.
But I think that makes game because he can animate both things and attack, and both of them will be lethal. Whichever one he doesn't block. Normally, but I just saw Chris's hand. He has a terminate and an electrolyze. So if he tries to,
It's not an electrolyze. His hand is Dreadbore, Niv Mizzet, terminate.
Oh, okay, so not electrolyze.
Not electrolyze, but he has 2 removal spells regardless.
But Dreadbore is a sorcery. He has a Dreadbore in his hand.
Right, but he still has terminate.
Yeah.
So if he tries to go, if Dakota gets really greedy and is I'll sack my whole board to kill you, and then
he dies.
Yeah, and then Chris just terminates. He's probably just dead. He just doesn't have enough action to do it after that.
Yeah.
All right, so he sacked that, which is probably a good idea. Or actually, maybe not.
And now he's going to attempt to put all the counters onto the Ink Moth.
Yep. I mean, he had to. That's the only way to get it to lethal.
Yeah.
Although he could have instead sacked the Damping Sphere instead of the Ink Moth Nexus. Got the same amount of counters. And been able to keep the threat of Inkmoth and killed his Niv Mizzet.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't know that there's another Mizzet in hand, but that just kind of leaves him dead on the board. But like we said earlier, we know for sure that this is actually Dakota's first time playing the deck.
Yeah.
So, you know, and obviously anybody playing a deck for the first time, some of the more complicated lines might not, like, come to you when you're in the moment.
Yeah, especially when you're, like, playing a deck that's as weird and unconventional as Hardened Scales Affinity.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, like, math involved and, like, adding really weird numbers. All right, we have Lillian Bender. Yeah, we're on 7 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah, normally.
Normally. And so it's good to have you. I know you're one of the consistent people.
Good to see you in chat.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, chat's been actually pretty active today, so I'm digging that. So Dakota scoops it up. Didn't find anything off the top.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he could, like, he definitely punted to the win, but there was definitely a few lines that were very questionable.
Yeah, there are a few questionable lines, a few wins that maybe we did the math wrong, but, like,